Recording.
Cool. Right. Well, I can't say much more than that. Cheers guys for coming. This was very short notice. So basically, I heard about this bill. Well, I asked 4 weeks ago if we could get a building in the campus, and I eventually asked the sort of GCU Computing Society to see if they would help, and they got us this space. But we only heard it in Monday. So from Monday I started asking people to help out, mentor, judge, volunteer, give their time. So it's pretty awesome that we managed to end it here. I thought I was going to come up to jam myself, or be out there with judges, and we could have just made some beautiful stuff. So there's a whole bunch of people I have to thank. First of all, I want to thank Tom, because he's done a bunch of stuff when he kind of heard about this. It was very much appreciated. He basically went round his email contact list and didn't even bribe them, he just asked, which is weird. He also helped me get judges and kind of helped out over the whole weekend. He still missed out on making stuff though, so that's the only thing. He's going to have to, next game jam he has to make a game. So first of all, again, I want to thank everybody who's here, because that was very good of you. Also want to thank a whole bunch of sponsors who have given games, time, money, pizzas or whatever else. So first of all, David Taylor, who I believe is a developer in Scotland, isn't he? He's got a game called Blitzkrieg on XBLIG. So go and check that out. Ollie Montalia of Ludocraft, Air Buccaneers, Paradox Interactive, they gave us a whole bunch of games, including Magicka and Crusader Kings 2. Pete and Alex, Reality Council, they have kindly given their time. Alex somehow morphed from mentor into jammer, much appreciated, sir. Pete has given up his time to be a mentor and a judge. So can you check out their game Webware? I believe it's also prizes, a couple of codes or something like that. A couple of codes and prizes as well. Even if you get a code, I still recommend you go out and buy it and support these guys, because they are pretty awesome at supporting things like this. So please do that. Ross Beerley and Laughing Jackal, Hungry Giraffe and OMG HD Zombies on Vita. That's a whole bunch of letters. Martin Torrington of Clever Beans, Vikings Attack on Vita, Quartic Llama. Just want to give these guys a big shout out. If you've never heard these, they're indie developers based up in Dundee. They supported those guys with some food, and they were judges as well. So they were really kind and giving their time. In fact, I think I emailed Mal on Wednesday and he said yes. So he's a really good guy. Now on to the Glasgow judges. Lindsay from Reloaded Productions. Thanks very much for coming. And you're actually representing Reloaded as well. You've got a t-shirt. Is it the same one the whole weekend? Or?
No, I washed it. That's why I had to wear quick stripes instead of the sun.
Right, cool. Joey Aguirre as well, freelance artist, has helped us out, judged, mentored, and generally been a nice chap over the weekend. Dan Benden from Ready Up, been here the weekend and actually made a game as well. She'll put that in the list.
It was me and Lindsay mentioned.
Oh, was it you, Lindsay?
I'll take all the credit.
It had cats and it had lasers, so that was like made it awesome in my point of view. Tom Freeman from Sick Kids Save Points came along today and entertained us. That video's going up on YouTube, by the way. That's you giving me my promo material for that game for the next year. Is it already up? So I'm going to be YouTubing that stuff and getting out there. And again, Alex and Pete. Alex for becoming a jammer, Pete for being here the whole weekend and supporting us. So thanks very much, guys.
Weekend.
The whole weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
The whole weekend. The whole weekend. And the hosts, I'll do that very quick because it's taking too long to thank everybody. I'll leave the Dundee ones because they can thank themselves. So helpers, Paul, Daniel, Alex turned into a jammer as well. Thanks Alex. And she also did music for everybody pretty much. And Jack, who was here for a wee bit as well, and who's no longer here. Makes him sound like he's dead. Oh, you're sleeping most of the time. Also, Glitch Free Gaming for doing the podcast. Dave Sapien, Matt Sharp, who was away, and the other guys are all on Dundee, so they're getting a mention. So, I'll pass over to Tom now to do the prize giving thing, because basically I've just been awarding them all to myself. So I think it's better if Tom does it.
Okay.
Cheers.
Well, first of all, we can't give away all the prizes because we need to find out who wins, and I don't even know yet because the judges have been talking for ages and they've been deliberating and looked very serious, and they were fighting for a while, and but I think they figured it out now. Anyone really fighting is fine. All the very civilised. So we kind of had a think for a while about how to split up the prizes, and we'd love to have thousands and thousands of pounds to give you, but we couldn't get that in short notice, so we just got you some game codes, so I hope that's okay. We have one certificate for the winner, which I'm going to pass over to the judges, and they're going to give to whichever team wins. But I also have just generally certificates for each person who came along and attended, and they're lovely. They're made in Microsoft Word in a standard template, and I had a section where I had to fill in your school and whether you had a good record for attendance, but I just deleted that and put in something about a game jam. So what I'm going to do is just pass out codes to everyone who came along, and what I'd like you to do is give yourself a big round of applause, because for all these thanks for sponsors and stuff, it doesn't really matter for anything except for all you people who come along and give up your time and your skills and your expertise to make a game over 48 hours. And I can do it because I suck and you guys are brilliant, so well done everyone. Come out one at a time and give you. I'll just come round. Okay, and what I'm going to do now, actually, before I go, is pass on to the judges. So I think each judge is going to talk a little bit about one of the teams, what he liked and what was interesting about your particular game, and then they're going to tell us who wins overall. Yep.
Okay. Just what Tom said there about having the things we've seen you make over the weekend are amazing. I say me and Lindsay spent, I thought we spent like maybe half an hour making the game, but we spent, it was about 6 hours. And I was really pleased with it, and I took it home to show my wife. And on the walk home, I came to my senses, and when I showed her, I thought, this is just awful shit that I've made, and it's about 15 seconds long to play it. But as someone who's never made a game before, that was a lot of fun. I was inspired. I wasn't expecting to make a game, even a terrible game that doesn't last very long. But the atmosphere was really infectious, so you get everyone thinking about it. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Acorn Warriors, who we are multiplayer game. Of all the games we played, it was the game we played the most, I would say, the most of, and we kept playing. It was the first game we played, but if we kept playing it over and over again, it being a 4-player multiplayer game, we really liked that. It was really a good concept of that. We liked the idea that once you've played it, once you've defeated all the enemies, it becomes a adversarial game, and it can become that earlier on as well. It's a good concept. It's rarely done very well in games, the concept of being able to betray your teammates. But because it was so simple, it worked really well, because there wasn't any way of really cheating it. You'd be killing your teammates because you wanted to, or occasionally just because you did by mistake. It was well thought out. It worked. It had many levels. The levels progressed and got harder, and there were more details added to the game. That was excellent. We weren't sure entirely how well it kept to. The problem with the quote that he went with was that the quote was quite vague, which is good for a quote as an inspiration, but the multiplayer and the Acorn thing were certainly both there. It didn't feel very much like a game that Peter Molyneux would make, other than the fact, yeah, you didn't hype it enough. It basically did everything they said it was going to do, so that's not very Peter Molyneux at all. But other than that, we liked the idea that it was produced for a new piece of technology that many of us hadn't used yet, and how it was centered around that. But I think we really enjoyed playing it. My bit done.
Right, where do I stand here? Sick Kids Safe Play, I just want to plug that before I say anything else. October, play games for 24 hours and raise money for sick kids. Do it, it's fun. Right, I'm going to speak about William's game, Harassing the City. We were all really impressed by how much of a full realised game you had as a one-man team. So we really want to tip our hats to you for that. We thought, you picked a really classic Molyjam quote in, being rejected by men. There was some undertones of sexual predator about your game, but we felt that maybe you could have gone more on that. It was obviously a sort of sexually driven quote, and we thought, And what was interesting was that you based it on dialogue trees, and we felt that maybe we wanted to see more of those dialogue trees and more intricacy, and that's a very difficult thing to do. And maybe if it was like built on Twine, you might have found that easier. But what you did use, you gave it a really nice, really attractive 16-bit art style and everything. So we were like really chuffed with that. So well done, and for a one-man team, good stuff.
What's the name of it? Oh, right, okay. White Star, that's it. Yeah, White Star was fun. Very silhouette. Sorry, I haven't even thought of this. It was a fun game. What I didn't like about it was the keys. Like, they were up like all in a row. I don't really like that part. It was a fun game though. The boss level was great. You put a lot of thought into that one. Nice little platformer when I didn't break it. But yeah, you put some really good effort. I like the whole story around it. The quote, I can't remember because I have a really crap memory. Sorry guys.
Freedom is rare.
Yes, right, that's it. Yeah, freedom's word. I felt quite locked in my little box that I got stuck in. But yeah, overall, I really liked the game. And it was good little sort of retro style. Yeah, that's the best I can come up with. Sorry guys.
So the final game that was worked on was, what even is the full title of this? It's like Molly Dog Dogulous Rift or something. That's one continuous title, right?
It's Molly Dog dash.
Molly Dog, colon, subtitle, Dogulous Rift. Right. Great. It's like you couldn't actually decide on a title. So you get stereoscopic titles, which is very appropriate. Great. So obviously Jock showed up with the Oculus Rift and was clearly planning to make a game about something that used the Oculus Rift. And what impressed all of us was that it wasn't a game that just wedged in the Oculus Rift. It was based around this new exciting bit of technology, which is definitely something that Molyjam would do, as we've seen with things like Milo, where he doesn't just kind of wedge something in, he takes the tech, uses it as a base, builds around it. That's something your team did very well. You also caused a lot of embarrassment, as was your goal, to make us all bark and piss on things, and in the game. So it was a very interesting concept overall. I had some problems with like the HUD not being entirely visible a lot. Like sometimes the HUD was in my peripheral vision, but the problem is when I tilt my head up to look at the HUD, then the HUD's suddenly over there. So that was it kind of removed a lot of the game aspect for me personally, because there was I wasn't really aware of like the end goal or what I was supposed to be doing, even though there was a goal, which was like embarrass the owner and embarrass the player as well. But I couldn't really see that. But that's more of like a polished thing, just bringing it in, letting me focus on HUD. But I thought it was very impressive, and it was a great use of the technology. So well done. Cool.
Yeah, I was just quickly going to say, just before we go on, I think maybe poor Dan didn't get a chance to mention that he's editor-in-chief for ReadyUp, and we should plug that and tell everyone you should go along and visit ReadyUp.net, which is an amazing games website based largely in Scotland. So does one of the judges want to award the winner? Brilliant, Lindsay. You can come up here, or you can give it there. You probably can't see it. Just come up here, please. All you have to do is pass it over. So Lindsay, who is the winner of the Glasgow Molyjam 2013?
Simon, myself, or zombie king. It was an awesome game, but no, the winners are Virtuous Dog? Dog Virtuous? The dog one. Yeah.
The dog one. Oh, the whole team, that's it.
What was it? Virtuous Dog?
Molydog.
Molydog.
Okay, so
Everybody's seen me.
okay, Molydog. I would also, at this point, like to thank someone who's just stupidly modest, and that's Brian, for doing all this in the first place. Between him and Malcolm up in Dundee, they actually get everything up and going, so thank you very much to them. Okay, thank you very much everyone. See you again next year.
Who wants to go to the top?
Yeah. Oh wait, APB play it, goinggamersfirst.com.
Whatever game that's up there. Oh yeah, good question. I didn't even get a picture there because I don't know.
So I have